Thanks for clicking the video. Today we're looking at what I think are the 5 best armies to start with if you're learning Warhammer 40k. And I want to make one thing clear before we get into this list, because best beginner army gets thrown around a lot. And normally it turns into which army is the cheapest or which one is the easiest to paint. You know, those things do matter, but that's not what we're going to dive into today. I went through every army and ranked them on 6 things. How easy the basic game plan is to understand, how complicated the faction rules are, how many different units and interactions you need to learn, you know, the movement and positioning, how forgiving the army is when you screw something up, and how much sequencing you need to remember to actually make the army work. Because let's face it, crap happens in this game and stuff gets screwed up when you're trying to learn in 40k. Shoot, I still screw stuff up all the time when I'm playing. So I don't think a beginner army is just an army with easy rules to follow. I think it's an army that lets you make a mistake or two and hopefully will help you understand why it was a mistake. So these are the 5 that came out on top for best beginner armies. Now, before we start, here's a little selfish plug. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, real quick, I do have affiliate links down in the description for some of the hobby stuff I talk about on the channel. If you're already planning on picking something up, using one of these links really helps support the channel, and it don't cost you anything extra. And if you use those, thank you. I really appreciate it. So starting at number 5, we have probably the least surprising army on this whole list. Or maybe it's the most surprising one. And number 5 would be the Orks. Orks are one of those armies where the first layer is incredibly easy to understand with them, because you got boys. You want them over there and overwhelming your opponent with lots and lots of boys. Obviously, there's more to playing Orks, well, than just running across the table screaming, "Wah!" But for somebody learning the game, having such an easy goal is really useful when you're first starting out. You're learning how charges work, how the fight phase works, how to use terrain to get a melee unit across the board without getting deleted, when you should commit a unit and when you should hold back. You're learning a lot of the fundamentals of 40k without also trying to figure out what your army is supposed to be doing, because they have a clear plan. Overwhelm your opponent. You also got units with pretty understandable jobs in this faction. You know, boys put bodies on the board, Gretchen can handle objectives, and the boring stuff that you don't want to waste big points on. You know, you got knobs and mega knobs. They are your heavy hitters. Storm boys over here, they give you a nice little speed boost. Then you got your trucks getting your infantry where they need to go. Then if you want to branch out later, Orks have a massive range of walkers and bikes and squid hogs, battle wagons, shooting units, and all kinds of crazy fun stuff. So there's plenty of room to grow in a lot of different directions if you go with Orks. Now, the downside, and this is why Orks aren't higher, is movement. Running toward the enemy is really easy. Getting there without half your army getting shot off the table first, that's where Orks, you know, have a little bit of a problem. So the learning curve would be you need to learn how to stage behind terrain, and then you also need to learn some of the enemy movement too, like how far an enemy can move and charge. So when you send multiple threats forward together, and if you're playing a big horde, you've physically got more models to move around. That can clog up your own movement, block your own charge lanes, and suddenly you got 30 angry green dudes all trying to squeeze around an enemy, but no room to move. So positioning is key with these guys. The other thing I'd watch out for now is that Orks are moving into their full 11th edition codex, and Games Workshop has already confirmed a rework around the wall system, getting the boys riled up, and the book has 15 detachments, so there is going to be a ton of depth here. The good part for a beginner is you don't need to learn 15 detachments at once. Pick a straightforward Ork build, learn your boys, learn to charge, and the weird stuff will come later and come naturally. So Orks are easy to understand, fun to learn the melee side of 40k with, but the movement is what keeps them at number 5. So let's talk about number 4. This is probably going to be half the people's favorite, half the people's least favorite. That is going to be Space Marines. And Marines are interesting because I think they're simultaneously one of the easiest armies to start playing and one of the easiest armies to completely overwhelm yourself with. Because if I hand you a captain, some intercessors, some terminators, a tank, and maybe one fast unit, that's a really good army to learn 40k with. Your models aren't made out of tissue paper either here. Your attacks, for the most part, are reasonably reliable. You have some shooting units, you have some melee, plenty of vehicles, and infantry, you got deep strike, transportation. You can learn almost every major part of 40k without your faction forcing you into one playstyle. And your main faction role, Oath of Moment, gives you a very understandable job every turn. Identify something important and focus your attention on it. That's actually a really good habit to learn because focus fire on one enemy with your unit is a lot better than having your unit spread shots across multiple different targets. Now, Space Marines encourage you to look at the board and go, that thing over there needs to go. The problem with Space Marines is not really playing the Space Marines. It's Space Marines, if we're going to be honest with each other here. There are so many units to choose from, and also so many different flavors of Space Marines. It can be very overwhelming when you're first getting into the game. You've got different intercessors, different terminators, jump packs, veterans and dreadnoughts, tanks, transports, speeders, then all the characters, then chapter-specific units, and then the frankly ridiculous number of detachments you have to start looking through. The current 11th edition faction pack alone adds and updates another huge group of options on top of the existing codex, including things like Fulgurus, Librarius, Blade of Ultramar, Orbital Assault, and much more. A new player does not need to know all that though. That's probably the biggest advice I can give someone starting Space Marines. Learn the army you own. Not every Space Marine data sheet Game Workshop has ever printed. You know, if your army uses 6 different units, learn those 6. You don't need to know the difference between every Space Marine tank. Now, I would recommend using proxy models to test some of the models out to see which style you like more instead of going out and buying 6 different tanks. Just proxy some so you can get a feel for which kind of tank you like running. So, what pushes Marines over Orks for me is forgiveness. You know, power armor gives you some room to make a bad move and survive from it most of the time. You normally have another unit that can pick a job if something dies, and because you're playing a combined arms army, one failed charge doesn't suddenly mean half your army did nothing that turn. So Marines are probably the best army on the list if you want to learn 40k as a whole. They're just not number 1 because the range itself can become a beginner trap for you and overwhelm you with so many options in every aspect of the game. Don't help that they are Games Workshop's poster child, so they push those way more than they do most other factions. Now, number 3 is going to be the Death Guard. Space Marines and Death Guard are actually tied on my scoreboard, but I'm putting Death Guard above them because I think the decision tree for a brand new player is a lot easier with them. Death Guard have a very understandable style. You're basically extremely slow, but trade-off, you're really tough too. You move on to important parts of the board. Make your opponent come deal with you, and once they get close enough, they're standing in your contagion range. You move on to the important parts of the board. You make your opponent come deal with you, and once they get close enough, they're standing in your contagion range. And Nurgle's gift starts making their life really bad. The current rules even reinforce that idea with different plagues modifying enemies caught inside your range. So you're not bouncing around the table trying to set up 3 different teleport plays. It's not tricky madness over here. It's a slow grind that wears down your opponent. You're basically just walking forward very, very slow. And I think that slower speed is good for learning in one way because you have time to see how the board develops. You can learn objective control, some firing lanes, how to screen, and trading without managing some army that moves halfway across the table every time you touch them. Death Guard also tend to be forgiving once they're where they need to be. Plague Marines are solid. You got Terminators, you got Demon Engines. Your army is designed to grind through a game instead of exploding the first time your opponent catches something out of position. Now, their strength is also their biggest beginner trap. They're slow. No way around it. They are just slow. If you deploy a fast unit in the wrong place, sometimes you can fix it, right? But if you send a Death Guard unit toward the wrong side of the board, that dude still may be walking over there when everybody else is packing up their game. That's how slow they are. So Death Guard teaches you something really useful early. Think about where a unit needs to be next turn, not just where you want it at right now. And also their faction mechanic rewards that same kind of planning for you. You want your contingent range overlapping the parts of the battlefield where the important fights usually are going to be happening at. That's why I've got Death Guard at number 3. They're not overly complicated to get functioning, durable enough to let you learn from mistakes. They have a clear identity for you, but they will teach you very quickly that movement is more than just how many inches are printed on your data sheet. Now, number 2, it might be my favorite. And that is going to be the Adeptus Custodes. So if your biggest fear starting 40k is looking across the table at 50 models and thinking, there's absolutely no chance I'm remembering all the things that they can do, Custodes might be the army for you. Now, who am I kidding? They are the army for that reason. Low model count. And they're extremely tough dudes in that golden army everybody loves. Every Custode is an elite piece. Their basic profile are strong. Their armor is good. They're excellent in melee. And a lot of the army works without needing 4 units standing nearby handling different buffs. They are just so OP. So GW's current 11th edition material continues to build around the hyper elite identity of these guys. Even something like the current Lions of the Emperor detachment rewards individual Custode units for operating independently rather than asking you to build some support around them. So mechanically, Custodes are pretty easy to get your head around. You have way fewer units to remember, fewer models to move, fewer weapon profiles going off every single turn, and the units themselves are durable, enough that accidentally leaving one model poking slightly too far around a ruin doesn't usually result in that model getting evaporated. But there's a catch. You have few models. Now, I know I just said that was a good thing, right? Now it's the bad thing too. If you've got 7 meaningful units on the table and I throw one of them away, I just lost a pretty large chunk of that army that I have. So Custodes are easy mechanically, but you still have to position correctly with them. So you need to decide which objective needs your attention, where your limited units need to go, and which fight is worth committing them to. You also can't cover every corner of the table. That's one of the biggest lessons Custodes will teach you. Sometimes you have to give up something. You can't have a golden demigod standing on every objective at the same time. Well, I take that back. If you position good enough, you might be able to pull that off. And I think that's a pretty good skill to learn though. Instead of moving 30 models without really knowing why, Custodes force you to look at each unit and ask one question. What is this unit going to do this turn for me? So if you want a low model count army with simple mechanics, great durability, and strong, very strong individual units, Custodes are probably the easiest place to start for you. They just missed number 1 because when you make a mistake, you don't have spare bodies to cover it. Before we get to number 1, drop it down in the comments. Let's see if anyone's able to guess what number 1 is. So number 1 is going to be the fan favorite, the Necrons. Out of every army I went through, I think Necrons are the best combination of easy rules, decent model range, durability, and the ability to recover when a mistake happens. And the last part is what pushed them to number 1 for me. Their faction rule, we're talking about reanimation protocols, are almost perfect as a beginner mechanic. Your unit takes damage, survives, and the army has a built-in way to start repairing that damage and bringing models back for you. Priceless. There's definitely an important lesson hiding inside that rule too, because if the opponent completely removes the unit, there's nothing left to reanimate. So right away you're learning something useful. Preserving the last few models in a unit can sometimes be more important than squeezing one more attack out of them. So you're learning when to stay on an objective, when to pull something back, when a unit needs a little bit more protection, and why completely finish an enemy unit is different than just damaging it. GW still describes that endless silver tide. The warriors and immortals are one of the core Necron army styles in current 11th edition material. While the faction has some advanced options like mobility sky shroud builds and different specialized detachments, once you're ready for them. And that's another reason I like Necron so much for a beginner too. You don't need that advanced stuff right away. You can start with warriors and immortals, a character, some scarabs, something that hits hard, a little bit of shooting, and you've already got an army where everything makes sense for you. Then later you can start messing around with Catan, destroyers, teleporters, hypercrypt style armies, all of that. You're not going to outgrow the faction just because you learn the basic rules. Their weakness is speed. A lot of Necron builds aren't flying across the table. So just like Death Guard, you still have to think ahead about where the infantry needs to go. And their range is big enough that eventually you can absolutely make Necrons complicated for you if you wanted to. But the difference is that the faction doesn't require you to start there. It starts easy for you and you can work your progression up later on. Your basic stuff is you take some ground, you keep your units alive, focus down important targets, and then reanimate what survives the battle. Make your opponent do the hard work of removing you completely. That's why the Necrons are my number 1 beginner army. They're not number 1 because they're impossible to beat, and definitely not saying you're going to start winning games just because you pick the Necrons here. They're number 1 because when you make one of those mistakes everybody makes in their first 10 games or so, Necrons are more likely to give you a chance to keep playing and learn something from it instead of just taking a unit off the board and wondering what happened. So yeah, that's my 5. If you want the easiest overall army to learn, go with Necrons. If you want the fewer model count, pick up them Custodes. And I think that's more useful than just saying one army is beginner friendly, because these 5 are easy for completely different reasons. The other thing I want to know is what army did you start with? And after actually playing it, would you recommend it to someone just starting today? Did I mess up this list? Do you have better picks? Is the picks in different orders? Because there are definitely some armies that look easy until you put them on the table and then they just wreck you. As always, thanks for watching, and if you're trying to learn 40k, that's exactly what we're doing here. We're breaking down the armies, the rules, and the parts of the game that make the whole thing way easier to understand. So subscribe if you want to keep learning with us. I'll see you in the next one.